All right. First, let's talk about the CVOs.
Oh, sure.
And from what I understand, and I don't know if you have all the details on this, but it's going to have a variable valve timing. And generally, that you see that in high performance bikes and even cars where above 6 or 7,000 RPM, it gives you more power at the higher RPM. Do you know anything about that?
I'm going to say it does have it because I've seen uh, many instances of YouTube videos and this, that, and the other to where, uh, it sure look if it's not if it doesn't have it, they're sure fooling a lot of people.
Well, no, I'm assuming Harley is admitting that that's one of the things.
Yeah, well then I think the variable valve timing, Harley has been working on that for quite some time, and I think it's a good thing. It helps them with power and emissions and some other things, and I think it's a good thing.
Well, I agree with you. I think it's a good thing, especially if it gives you even more power. But generally Harley Davidson motors make all their power and torque down low in the RPM range. Uh, but they haven't given you any details on this as to whether or
No,
not
no
that's
details. There's no details as of yet, but all the details come out June 7th, if I'm not mistaken, and
all
that's
right.
to the general public as well.
And do you know if it's going to be air cooled strictly, or is it going to be like the ultras and stuff to where you have, I think it's air oil cooling?
Well, it's oil and water cooled. I would agree. I would think it'd be the same setup where uh, they water cool one valve in each head, and so I would assume that would take place as well.
Because I noticed from the pictures, on the Ultra, you could see it's got the lowers on it, and that's where that little radiator is mounted with the fan. I,
Yeah,
I didn't see that on the CVO in the
yeah.
photos.
Also, it has a bigger. If you look at it real close, it also has a bigger oil cooler area in the front of the frame. So what you'll see an air dam there, but looks like it could be covering up a larger oil cooler. Uh, just speculation, but I would think it'd be a air water cool oil cooled system.
And the other rumor that you hear is that it's going to have a monoshock. Do you know anything about that?
Well, I hear the same rumor, so I mean the I I I I I wouldn't be surprised to see it, but I don't know that for a fact.
And we could see, of course, on any of the pictures, it's got the upside down forks, which is supposed to give you, I guess, better suspension or feel to it. I've never noticed any difference on like the lowrider S that has the upside down fork versus the street bob, which doesn't. Hey, at least around here, maybe if you live up in the mountains, you might notice a difference around curves, but I can't tell any difference from that.
It does give it a much more stiffer and a more stable handling in curved situations. Where I'm at in Tennessee, we have plenty of curves, so it would be a nice feature to have, no doubt. And it also looks like it's going to have some Brembo front brakes, which would be really cool. So the bikes always needed better brakes. So I think they fixed that problem with this bike.
Don't the other bikes have Brembos?
No, not to my knowledge, they aren't. I don't know if they are. They don't say it on the side of the brakes anywhere. I know that today in braking and motorcycles, especially the Harley, we build so much more power, and we with even with the 107, compare what it was a few years ago when it was a 103 or a 95 or even an 88. Basically those chassis are pretty much the same as they were, way years ago. I mean, if you look at a 22 or 23 touring bike, it's pretty much the same gig as it was 20 years ago or longer. They beefed up the rear swing arm on them in '09, made a wider back tire. But the braking on it is a little better. I mean, it's a lot better compared to an 89 or 90s bike. But but back then we didn't have near the power we were putting out on motorcycles as we were today. So today, once you throw a limited and you go two up, and you got a 117 or even a 131 motor in it now. The brakes are working that much harder to stop it, and I think an upgraded brake system will be really cool to this. And if it's monoshock, that's a big plus as well, as far as handling and the stopping of it. So we'll just all have to wait and see.
But moving on, the Fast Johnny bikes, I see you've got a Road Glide right now in stock with that paint job.
Yeah, we're real lucky. We got three Fast Johnnies hit the door. We had two Road Glide, no, one Road Glide and two Street Glides. The bikes are being received really well. It's a really cool motorcycle. Everybody's flipped out over the paint. Paint looks really good. It looks good with the gold wheels. It looks good with the gold highlights. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's really cool, and it's something you don't see every day.
Now, is that also going to be a limited number?
I would assume it is. That's a good question. I don't know that for a fact, but I would think it would be. Yes. I
But
mean,
it doesn't.
I definitely would.
It doesn't say
The
on the console like number one of 1,000 or anything like that.
I don't recall seeing it. I could be wrong, but I don't recall seeing it. I do know that the Icon bikes are
Right.
with the Highway King and those bikes, and the bikes you have are you got Revivals, and those bikes are all numbered. So I don't think it's going to be like that now.
Mm-hmm. Now, last year at 22, they had that black bike with I think it was some orange on there. It was a really sharp paint job, and those were limited numbers, or you don't know.
What bike are you referring to?
In 2022, they put it on the Road King Special, I believe the Road Glide and the Street Glide, and even the Ultra. It had a black and it was orange, and it was a really sharp looking bike. But then it came out at the very end of 2022.
The only thing I saw, oh, you're talking about the Apex, and those
Yes,
are
yes,
Apex, yeah, Apex bikes. Those were not limited, and they were not. There was a really cool bike, and that bike sold extremely well. But you got to understand, when the Harley Davidson comes out with black and orange on anything, it sells extremely well. So they hit a home run with that, no doubt.
Yeah, I would imagine. And there were several models, but I know there was a premium over your normal two-tone colors, but I don't think it was as high as the Fast
It was
Johnnies.
pretty high. I think it's pretty close, this thing. I thought it was around $2,500, maybe a little more on those. Harley charges a premium for those bikes, and how you look at it's real simple. I mean, this is how I justify it. I mean, there's no way you could get that paint job done for what they're doing it for. If you wanted a custom paint set like Fast Johnny, I mean, after you took the bike apart, you gave it to somebody to paint it and put it back together and do that, you couldn't do it for $2,900 or whatever they're charging for it. And I think it's around $2,900. So if you look at it that way, and the quality of work you're getting, I don't think it's overpriced at all. But that's how I look at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize just the cost of the paint today is
It's
outrageous.
unbelievable just to buy a quart of paint or a pint of paint. In some cases, we have colors at Harley. In some cases, just that small amount of paint's $500 just
Yeah,
to paint.
somebody told me recently, if you wanted you get a new car and something happens to it, you need a repaint that's just as good as the factory, somewhere around $8,000 to $10,000 for just equivalent, no fancy paint job, just what it had from the factory. And mainly it's due to the cost of the materials have just skyrocketed over the past couple of years.
Well, I got to give Harley credit where it's at, man. There's things they do good, things they don't do so good. But you can say that with any company or any motorcycle company. But I want to tell you, when it comes to fit and finish and it comes to paint, I mean, sure, paint quality from the factory, nobody to me competes with Harley Davidson. They're that good. BMW could be close, but I want to tell you, you get a paint job from Harley off the line, it's pretty stout. It's as good as you're going to get, to me.
Yeah, I got to agree with you because even on the police bikes, which are meant for for sales to police agencies where they're going to buy 8 or 10 of them at a time, but they still do a great job. I've
I
got a
mean,
two-tone blue and white police 22 police bike, and it's just it looks like a custom color, but it's actually one of the colors from the police palette that anybody could pick.
Yeah, we have a couple of people, the one department here uses that green and white. I think they called it emerald green and white, birch white. I think they use it. I think the Florida Highway Patrol uses that color. I'm not sure. Um, I never got up close to one in Florida, so that's a good thing. The but we have a gun, and I want to tell you, man, the quality of paint on that motorcycle and the pinstriping and all you get is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, for sure. I have to agree with you on that. And you know, you want something custom and probably in limited numbers, you're going to have to pay for it. So we got the Fast Johnny bikes, and you've got the Road Glide, the Street Glide, and what's the other one?
The
Oh, the
Lowrider
Lowrider.
ST,
Right. And other than the paint, they're the same
same
as
motorcycle, just a paint job, right?
all right. Now getting on to my favorite, the new Highway King. That I understand is going to be a limited number, even more limited
Those
than
are very limited. I think there's 1,750 of them. There's some good news and bad news about it. The good news is that did offer the two colors, where Revival was offered one. The colors are spot on. I mean, not spot on. I mean, dead perfect. The red magenta is gorgeous, and the orange is spot on. I mean, who don't like an orange and black Harley Davidson? The if the, some dealers will get, all dealers get one, and then there'll be some dealers that met criteria to qualify for two. I'm lucky of them. I will have two. My first one was red, and once whatever dealer got whatever color first, if he qualifies for two, he gets the second. The other color will be the other option. So if it was red first, orange will be second. If it was orange first, red will be second.
and how do they come to that criteria, whether you get one or two?
It takes a degree from MIT to understand it. All I know is I was lucky enough to figure it, get one or get
Well,
two.
I probably never told you this, but my mother wanted me to be a doctor, and the only thing that kept me out of medical school was high school. So I'm almost like
Well,
MIT.
that's true. You know, in Tennessee, the hardest 4 years of your life is English. So that's all you can put it that way.
So you sold the first one that you got already?
Sold it right off the truck. Guy was waiting on it. He heard about it, couldn't wait. I told him I wasn't sure what color it was. He said, I don't care. So he bought it. The one thing of cool about that bike too is that they're offering a sidecar for it, color matched.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Oh yeah, it's pretty cool. It's not through Harley, but Harley is licensed champion sidecar out of California to make color match sidecars, and they're absolutely gorgeous. I mean, they're spot on gorgeous. You know, if you have a Highway King and you want a sidecar, check with your local Harley dealer, and you can order one to go with it. It's a limited number of them. I think I saw an orange and black one I thought was pretty daggone sweet. They did a really good job of duplicating or the old sidecar, the old metal sidecars Harley's had in the in the 50s, 40s, and early 60s before they went to that bathtub fiberglass style. And I think they did a really good job. Champion, and the bike looks great with the matching sidecar.
Is that the sidecar something that could be put on and taken off easily?
No, it's not. Sidecars are kind of a pain in the butt to install and uninstall. I would say to install one, you're going to take 8 hours to do it. You may uninstall it a little quicker, but sidecars have never been fun to put on, and you got to know somebody's got to know what they're doing to put one on.
Any idea what they cost for the sidecar?
I have no idea. We just don't have nobody ask for them no more. My brother-in-law just bought a used 2001 model matching pair. They're going for really good money right now. A good matching Harley Davidson sidecar rig on either a Road King or Limited. They made sidecars were made two different ways at the end. They made to fit a Limited, which had stereos in them and speakers, little upgraded seat, better steps, and then they made a base model that wasn't quite as plush on the inside. But those are going for really big money right now.
Well, I'm surprised because I would think that's a very limited market. Somebody that wants to put a sidecar on.
It is, but I think it's like anything else, with motorcycles, especially Harley Davidson, is that once they stop making things, that wasn't popular. Give it a few years and they get very popular.
Yeah, I remember the Sportster. What was it? You have one of them, the one that sits up kind of high, and it's got a little more power than the standard.
The XR 1200,
That's
yeah, I'm not sure how many they made. I got a 2010, which they only made 1,300 of, and they're bringing a really nice one's bringing explain just blood money. I was told that one of them brought $19,000 at the Mecum auction back in January in Vegas. So, bikes like that, collectors start getting in there and get after them. The 2007 50th anniversary Sportsters are bringing really big money. And those were a limited number bike, 2,000. There was 1,000 of orange ones and 1,000 black ones. They're bringing extremely big money. And then there's other bikes out there. The old recreation of when they came out in 2007, they made a red, white, and blue Super Glide that kind of looked like the original Super Glide from 1971. And those bikes bring real good money today. So
is that the one with the bow tail?
Sir?
Is that the one with the bow tail, they called it?
The bow tail was the original Super Glide in 1971, which started this entire custom bike craze. I think that was the start. Willie G. Davidson did a great job in building that motorcycle and starting the craze. And then Harley came out with the paint scheme to fit a 2007 Super Glide. I think it was 2007. And a bike sold okay. But now today, if you can find a really pristine one, they bring blood money. They bring great money.
Yeah, I remember people that bought the original with bow tail, they would take that off and they would put on a regular fender on it. And it reminded me of was a 62 Corvette where it had that post going down the middle of the rear window, and people cut that out and just buy the glass from the 63
model. I want to tell you, if you can find one today, you better have a lot of money in your pocket to buy one.
Oh yeah, they're crazy.
Crazy.
Now I have two revivals. Initially bought one for myself and one for my wife. Her doctor saying she shouldn't be riding anymore, so I'm thinking of selling one of them. It's only got, I think, 170 miles on it. You think that'll be a quick sell? And about what?
I think they're quick. I do, and that's a rare bike. That it's an exception. They're collector's items right off the bat. They didn't make many of them. I think there was fewer of those made than there was the Highway King. I think there was only 1,500 of those made.
Right.
And those motorcycles are bringing really good. We just sold one with 26 miles on it, a used one, and the motorcycle brought $35,000. So yes, that motorcycle in pristine condition. Keep in mind, you're not going to get once you ride one of them and put over I say anything over 2,500 to miles, maybe 5,000 miles. Once they get that many miles on them, they don't get to be so collectible anymore. They get to be just a regular motorcycle because, a little more wear and tear on the paint and seats and this, that, and the other. But if you can keep these things pristine and under 1,000 miles, those bikes will bring all the money.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because I'm thinking of putting it up for sale. I hate to do it, but it just right now sits in my garage. I have 8 bikes now. So if my wife decides she wants to ride again, I got the other revival. Plus I got the police bike, the Street Glide ST, and I got so many, I forget how many I have.
Jerry, you can never have enough motorcycles.
That's what I think. But my wife, she tends to disagree with that.
Wives.
Yeah, you know how they are.
Well, Jerry, be careful, buddy. Good talking to you.
Oh, one more thing. How's your wife doing? Has she been practicing?
She's doing great. She's really doing well. You helped her a lot. You're the only man she'd ever listen to. I've been married 38 years, and the worst fight I ever had was trying to teach my wife how to ride a motorcycle. I mean, it was, if she had a gun, she would have shot me. There's no doubt in my mind. So you're a hero, and you're the only guy that she will ever listen to is you.
All right, well, I want her to send me some videos of her practice sessions so I could
critique. I will. I'll do it tomorrow. I think we're going to do it tomorrow if it don't rain.
All right, great.
All right, man.
Once
Be
again,
careful. Be good, man. See ya.
Take care. Bye now.
Bye-bye.